Hello, Kunal. Kunal?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, did you say anything? Because I went outside of the home
No, no,
for some.
no, sir. Nothing.
Okay. Kunal also inform in Geohazard lab people to join
Yeah,
because
sir.
I
I already informed them. They'll be joining
okay
in like 2, 3 minutes.
because I don't know how many will join today because it's a Sunday, no?
Yeah, yeah, sir.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. I'll tell all of them to join. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, ma'am. Miss Lucky, ma'am. Could you hear, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi,
Yeah,
Ramu. How are you?
good, ma'am. We are waiting for a couple of minutes to start the event. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, definitely okay. No problem at all. No problem
Thank,
at all.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Can you see my screen, Ramu?
Yeah, you can share. We can have
I did share.
uh, no, not yet. We
Not
cannot
yet?
see the screen.
Okay. Let me do this.
Oh,
Give me.
yes, we can see now.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. We do have a joint honorary secretary, Dr. A.P. Singh, with us, and Professor Sanjay Verma. Many people are
Good
joining.
evening to one and all.
Yeah. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
Doctor.
Good evening.
Hello,
Yeah,
Dr. Singh. How are you?
I'm fine, Lucky. How are you?
I am good. It's Sunday morning here.
Very nice to see you. Yes. So good morning to you and good evening to all Indian attending people.
Yes.
Good evening,
Yes.
Dr.
Thank you.
Singh,
Yeah.
Dr. Ramu,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Professor Sanjay,
Sanjay sir.
Good evening, all. Good evening, all.
then
Singh sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Rajya Yogan Palanichami.
Lucky, nice to see you on this platform also. On the platform of IGS.
Yes, I'm very happy to be part of this.
Yeah. And I hope you will continue to be associated with us.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. I mean, I'm coming to India twice a year now. So yeah, so it will be, it will be dream come true and an honor to be associated with IGS.
Whenever you are coming, you let us know. We will keep some program of yours, and the fraternity will be benefited by your experience.
Definitely, definitely. I will let you know. I'll be in India the whole week, whole month of September for 5 weeks.
Great.
I'll be there, and I'm coming to Delhi actually for iCold conference.
Good.
So I'll let you know. Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Please. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Shall we start now? I guess the participants will join.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you want me to start.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. and welcome to Geo-Horizons lecture series, monthly lecture series on geotechnical innovation and sustainable developments. And we are really honored to have with us Ms. Lucky Nagarajan, Senior Manager, Business Development, Geocom, New York. So before we start about this lecture, I would like to welcome Dr. Anil Joseph, President IGS, to have a few words, even followed by Dr. AP Singh, Honorary Secretary, to have few words about the event and way forward. Sir, are you there? Anil, sir. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, good evening. I just joined in. There is some problem with my connection from the laptop, so I just
No
joined
problem.
through the phone. So it's great pleasure to be part of this and very happy and to know that Lucky is sharing this session. Thank you, Lucky, very much for this taking part in this particular session of the IGS Indore chapter. It will be great motivation for our youngsters. And thank you very much for this opportunity. And I congratulate the team from Indore for hosting this program and disseminating the knowledge. And thank you all and wish all the very best for the program.
I welcome Dr. AP Singh, sir, to speak a few words about this lecture. Sir, are you there?
Thank you, Ramu,
Yes,
and I congratulate IGS Indore chapter for organizing such a very innovative and useful webinars. And I welcome Lucky for joining this lecture series. And Lucky, you are very relevant today for the youngest fraternity members of our fraternity. So hope all younger generation will be benefited with your this talk. And with this, let's start the talk. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And before we go further into this, I would like to briefly introduce the audience about Ms. Lucky. And we do have, sir, in this panel, co-chair, Professor Satish Kumar Sharma. Welcome, sir. So for audience, a brief idea.
Thank you, Ram.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Lucky has 18 plus years of multi-industry experience in USA, South America, India, Mexico, and Canada. Fortunate to build career experience in different market sectors such as oil, gas, energy, mining, dam, high-rise building, etc. Started out as a staff engineer to geotechnical engineer for consulting companies, then progressing to general manager, managing North America and South America operations for an international equipment manufacturer to business strategies for a cutting-edge engineering solutions, including innovative technologies for leaders. She has worked on a second biggest crude oil pump station in the country, Sandpiper Pipeline, barrier wall design and construction of a tiling dams in Brazil, involved in SOE design and construction of permanent steel structure for Katak Canal, Governor's Canal dredging, and East Coast resiliency projects in New York, just to name a few. Nagarajan has been consistently endorsed to improve and contribute to the advancement of geo profession, increase involvement and career longevity for those serving it, and to increase outreach and recruitment efforts for those considering a geotechnical engineering career. She currently serves as the DFI Board of Trustee and chair its Women in Deep Foundations Committee since 2020. She is also a dedicated GI member and has served in the ASC Board Level Task Committee, building the civil engineering team for the future, and she is a member of the GI Board Level INNC, where she has offered a great input and new ideas for our members. She also serves in the GI Award Committee, where she has brought a unique perspective in the selection of awardees. In the past decade, she has been enthusiastically active in NY-NJ areas of AC, Med section, and the GA chapters, including great fundraising efforts for local events. She is lively and insightful guest judge and volunteer of ASC Future City competitions in New York, one of her favorite volunteer activities. New York is a home to many amazing and inspiring women engineers, but was lacking a group that could support, foster, mentor, and a safe space. She saw the need and co-founded the Metro New York WIDF, which evolved into a beautiful support group to encourage young engineers to join geotechnical engineering and flourish. To give back to her roots, she is the co-chair of DFI India Support Committee, with a local women's group where she has organized impactful panels and collaborations with local universities and societies to advocate for women in engineering. In the same direction, after being an invited panelist at the 2022 SMIG Geotechnical Conference in Mexico City and Raja, she was instrumental in starting a much needed women's group in Mexico. More recently, she was recognized and featured in Daughters of Indian Soil, by Journal Indian Geotechnical Society to celebrate 75th influential Indian women in the geo profession. She was also recently elected to join a Great Boston Chamber of Commerce Women's Network Advisory Board. So there is much to tell about Miss Lucky. So with this, I request Miss Lucky to deliver her lecture on civil engineering, demand and opportunities, connect and grow. So with this, ma'am, the platform is yours. You're good to go now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramu. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Singh and also Anil Joseph. I was not aware that Anil Joseph was going to be attending. Also, Dr. Singh was going to be attending. This is such a pleasant surprise, and I'm happy to see Anil Joseph on this platform again. Dr. Anil Joseph, congratulations on your daughter's graduation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So yes, when Dr. Nilima Satyam asked me, would you give a lecture to IIT Indore? And she gave me the topic actually. She told me, like, can you talk about demand and opportunities for civil engineers or geotechnical engineers? And I was like, oh my God, this is like, an amazing topic. And this topic is very close to my heart. As we know, India is struggling with, future workforce, and we are struggling, US is struggling with future workforce. And there were so many ideas that I had in my mind and thoughts I had in my mind. What should I talk about with respect to demand and opportunities? So I have put together a few things that I think will make or start the conversation of what we should do. We have the demand, there are opportunities, but we just have to grow our future leaders, right? So I will talk about what drives the demand and opportunities. And I have put together some statistics to show how is the demand for civil engineers in USA and how is the demand for civil engineers in India. If I'm wrong in any statistics for India, please correct me. I haven't worked in India, and this is the knowledge that I have gained in the last few years I've been involved. So please feel free to stop me and tell me, like, Lucky, you're wrong in here. This is not the right number, or something like that. And I did put together for the young generation that are on this call, I wanted to showcase some of the mega projects that are right now happening in USA. Very few. There are so many mega projects happening in USA right now, and also in India. Unbelievable projects. I hope to work on any of these projects in the future. That is my dream, actually. And at the end, I wanted to showcase how do we empower ourselves, what it means to be part of this industry and be successful and make it happen, for ourselves. So I wanted to talk about what has worked for me. I'm giving you what has worked for me that may be the same thing that may work for you also. And how do you sculpt your own future? Because no one is going to come and tell you that, hey, I have an opportunity for you, I think you should get involved. No one is going to come and do that for you. So you have to find your own opportunity and you have to sculpt your own future. So I will talk about that a little bit. And Women in Deep Foundation actually came up with a what is a geotechnical field video, which basically shows the different roles that women can have in the industry. I'm not saying just women, but women and men both can have in the industry. So I'll show you that video as well. So, I always, I'm at heart, even though I have moved on to management and, doing other different things and learning different things within the industry, my heart is still in the field. In the getting my hands dirty as a geotechnical engineer, as always, I always like to start presentations like this with a brief safety moment. As civil engineers and geotechnical engineers, we often find ourselves in the field inspecting our design, right? It can expose us to many hazards. Serious one is fall hazard. I remember the first time, the picture that you see here is the first time I got to wear the fall protection while working on the oil pump station project. You can see how the fall protection is so oversized for me, right? Like as a petite woman in US, this was like ridiculous. I was struggling with all kinds of, straps coming out of everywhere. So, but the industry is changing right now. At least there are a few vendors who make women PPE to fit our frame. I'm saying women PPE, but even men are different sizes. They come in different sizes, right? Like some of you may be really big, some of you may be really small. So there is no one size of PPE that can fit all. So there are US vendors who are making this right now. And that's a whole big conversation that is happening in most of the associations right now. And when you're using the fall protection, some things to be mindful of would be to confirm the harness condition, age, proper fit, confirming the tether, lanyard condition, and age and appropriateness for application. What are you trying to do? And confirm the anchor capacity. And the most important is for you to confirm your clear distance versus projected fall distance. So without any of preparation for any safety measures for the application of your job, it is very difficult to be safe, right? You always want to go home safe and be with your family. That being said, I want to start our presentation with this video where you see the different roles men and women can have within our industry. Ramu, if you can't hear the audio, just let me know.
Sure. Yes, we can hear.
I'm Donna. I work in the geotechnical field. My job is interesting, exciting. Wait, what? You don't know what to do? No problem. I have some friends who can help with that.
I'm with Blanket Engineering, and I'm on a job site in Oakland, California, where they're going to build a 400-foot tall high-rise. So these are the piles that are going to support that high-rise. It's going to have a basement, so we have a whole lot of storing in to make the excavation. They're taking down the tiles now to separate, and they're out here to watch the tile. We watch the storing go in. And we're checking the separate to make sure that the separate is good for that foundation that we can pour down these piles.
I'm Jules, and I'm managing a crew building a 239-foot diameter unreinforced diaphragm wall shaft. Yep, I work for Tikaka Verify as an engineer business manager in Florida. I'm here today to install some high-performing fabrics.
Peggy, down here mapping out the structure of the sinkhole so that we can put a building on top of it. I'm a geostructural engineer. I might have designed the dam that powers your city. I'm a geotechnical contractor. I may have built the foundation of the building that you're in right now.
We manufacture rock drills, so contractors can build mountain roads that won't fail. I manufacture building equipment that sometimes uses search for very sensitive. I'm a geotechnical engineer. I drill, dig, and explore what's under the ground. I get really muddy.
I build.
I design. I educate. I conduct research.
I'm an integral part of this dynamic team.
I manage major projects.
I calculate.
I supply specialty equipment.
And materials. I love what I do. So, what do you think? Want to know more? I thought you would.
Thank you very much for watching the video. The girl who was in the end, you know, who said that I like what I do, she was actually 9 months pregnant, almost getting ready to have a baby. So that was really nice to see. And we love this video just because we showcase every part of geotechnical industry. We should be proud of what we do, what we build, and what we accomplish for the future of our countries. Now, I just wanted to take you to my career journey. Ramu briefly mentioned, I have 18 plus years of experience, and I come from Bangalore, India. Over 21 years ago, I moved to United States to do my master's. And I went to, I already had the bachelor's from Bangalore, India, Dr. AIT, and then I did my master's in University of Texas, Arlington. Dr. Anand Pupala, some of you who may know him, was one of my professors. Once I graduated, as you can see, I've had a non-traditional path. Started out as a staff engineer out of Orlando, Florida, just like everyone else, and then moved on to PSI as a specialty project engineer. This was right after Hurricane Katrina. After Hurricane Katrina, there was a huge pull and push for rebuilding New Orleans, rebuilding the levees, rebuilding the communities. So I was really happy to be part of some of those iconic projects and see how engineering is different after a huge climate disaster. And then I worked for Bar Engineering as a geotechnical engineer, and that was a very unique opportunity for me because I had never worked in different market sector, which was oil and gas. Being a woman in oil and gas industry is not very easy. We'll talk about it in just a second. And with that, I also worked a little bit in energy industry, and energy industry was also very unique and very interesting. So with Bar Engineering, I was able to work in 19 states out of 50 states, working on oil refineries, pump stations, and accessory buildings for oil, crude oil pump stations, and wind farms, solar farms. So it was very amazing experience that I was able to build. So this was 9 years, working as a geotechnical engineer. And then I started thinking about, well, I've been in the field. I've been the on-site engineer construction. I have design engineering experience. So now why not learn how to bring in projects to the companies, right? The companies that I was working for. So that pushed me to take up a job in the Northeast, which is New York City, as a business development manager for Newport Skyline. And Newport Skyline is actually completely different. They are the North American biggest manufacturers of steel foundations, sheet piles, pipe piles, H piles, and geostructural products. So it was a unique experience. Again, you don't find too many women in steel industry at all. And the culture is very different. So, but, understanding the products, understanding how these steel foundations could change the efficiency of your projects, and how do you design them? What are the right steel sections to be used for your design was eye-opening for me. And from there, I was recruited by Geekin. Some of you may know Geekin, the silent piler Japanese company, as a general manager, looking at the operations for North America and South America. And this was, again, something that I had never thought of, that, well, am I prepared to be a general manager for operations? I did not know. Someone saw that in me and then put me in that position. And this was very unique opportunity for me to learn work with the company and the people, the culture is so different from Japanese. And I was the only non-Japanese, Japanese person in the company. And I was also the youngest general manager. So that brought a lot of challenges for me to be able to, communicate culturally, cultural differences, and also to work on most unique and challenging projects for tailing dams and waterfront structures in USA, Brazil, and also in Mexico and Canada. And one project in India that Ramu was mentioning in Cuttack. From there, I ended up, because I worked for steel manufacturer, consulting companies, and equipment manufacturer, I ended up going to Bauer Foundations, which is the contractor. And this was very short-lived, was not the right culture for me. I realized it quick and early, and then decided that I should not be with a contractor and I should move on. So recognizing that when your career is advancing is very important. We'll talk about it a little bit later too. And from there now, I know Ramu mentioned that I'm the senior manager at Geocomp. I just got promoted last week to be the director of instrumentation, monitoring, and consulting. So at Geocomp right now, with all my experiences and all the networking that I have built, I'm actually working on building relationships, building partnerships, looking at so many capital projects that are being built in US right now. And the specific services that we provide is very niche. When you're looking at instrumentation and monitoring for geotechnical or structural monitoring, structural health monitoring, majority of the bridges in our country have C+ or C- or D+, which is a very on the ASC report card, which is very low. So thinking about how can we maintain the structures, bridges, dams, and doing risk assessments. So looking at these capital projects and looking at how our company can be part of these amazing projects, and who should we be partnering with? How do you develop the workforce and services for that kind of client? So those are the things that I'm working with right now, which is as you can see, I made a complete circle, non-traditional way, but acquiring these experiences as I go has made me who I am today. And I wanted to give some ideas of the type of projects that I have worked, being in non-traditional engineering path. In Florida, I got to work with sinkholes, and I have a funny story about this. We can talk about it another day, where I was a few seconds away from being swallowed by a sinkhole that we were doing a rapid impact compaction on. That was very interesting to see how sinkholes open up and what type of mitigation can be done, if it is for a house, if it is for a huge building, or if it is for part of a bridge, how do you mitigate it? So that was a very good type of experience to build while I was in Florida. And then while I was in New Orleans, I got to work on the biggest iconic project in city of Louisiana, which is the Huey P. Long Bridge. We had 8 drilling contractors, and we were working with the city of New Orleans to look at the soil conditions, and also look at how the soil conditions could be, the parameters could be developed from the soil conditions, and the laboratory tests that could be done from the company that I was working with for all the abutments of the bridges. And this is Eastern Access Program, as Ramu was mentioning, second biggest pump station in the country, is very dear to my heart, because this project was very crucial at the time. We were looking at, I was involved from proposal stage to all the way to the construction of the tanks. We were building 9 tanks above ground, and each tank was 265 feet in height and 65 feet in diameter. So they were huge. So each tank, actually, the soils were so different, even though they were in 2 mile by 2 mile project site. Each tank had different type of foundation. So for me, as a mid-level engineer being on this project site, I got to learn different techniques and methodologies that could be used to build these tanks. We had ground improvement, we did continuous modulus columns, we did ring wall foundations, and we did micropiles. So there were so many different helical piles. So there were so many different types of foundations that I was exposed to in terms of construction and managing 2 construction companies. So we were about 118 people on site, and there were 2 women And I was the only engineer, and the other woman was an administrative person. So the challenges were very unique, and coming from India and looking differently also posed a different type of challenge, but taught me a lot being on the site for 3 years. And Sandpiper Pipeline, the other thing that Ramu was mentioning, is also another close to my heart project. The reason for that is like I was in North Dakota, which is like -35, -40 in winter degree, Celsius. And from Minot, North Dakota to McGregor Station, we did geotechnical investigation for fracking, basically to give them the information of what do you see with respect to subsurface characterization, how far is the rock, what is the type of the rock that you see, what is the RQD, and where do you have difficulty in horizontal drilling, and what are the things that you should be thinking about to mitigate before you start your horizontal drilling, how deep do you have to go, and everything else. So every few days or few weeks, we were in a different town doing the geotechnical investigation for horizontal fracking. The interesting part about this project was this geology and geological conditions were very different from every one side to the other side. It was very interesting also to understand what city requirements are based on the drilling that you are doing, and remote locations. They were all in remote locations. If you had to go and buy a bottle of water, you had to drive 40 miles, get in the car and drive 40 miles. And it was pretty like one of the days, like, we also saw a lone wolf, which was following us for a little bit. So we had amazing experience, different types of experience, and then wind turbine foundations. And this project that I have the picture in is a wind farm foundation, which is in between Mexico and San Diego. Last city before you leave San Diego, which is called town of Boulevard. Outside that, there was a Native American preservation. That's where we did this project. And it was also very unique is because we couldn't really have a driving drilling equipment all the way to these wind farm locations, because some of this were right by the road, as you can see, and some of these were in between the valleys. So every morning we had to hike like 2 miles or something. In the evening also we had to hike 2 miles. And there were also like this was California, and California has very stringent laws. And it was so unique because we had a biologist with us, we had an archaeologist with us. Biologist was going there earlier before we started the drilling to look at what kind of wildlife do we see here. If there was a butterfly, butterfly habitat built before we started, we were not supposed to be there until the butterfly was gone, and we had seen mountain lions there, and we had archaeologists because this was a Native American preservation. So we had to look at, is there any artifacts or anything that is being buried here? So they had to do that survey before we even go in. And then we had a fireman with us because California is very dry. This part of the California is very dry, and we had to make sure after we finish drilling of the project sites, we are not going to start a fire and brush fire in the area. So they had to wait 30 minutes after we finished to make sure that there is no fire. So there were a lot of different challenges on this project, but it was also very unique because shallow rock in all of these areas, and there were very different type of rocks, and also different RQDs that we had to go through. And way to 15 feet, 20 feet, we had to be drilling in the rock itself to find the competent rock in some of the areas. So it was very unique. And this is another picture of the same tank foundations for you to see aerial view. And here are some pictures from other projects that I have done. The tailing dam barrier wall Brazil was also another unique project because after Bermudino failure, if you all remember, State of Brazil came back and basically told everyone that all the mining companies that they have to reevaluate their dams. And now they had to, after the risk assessment of all the dams, if they were high risk dams, then they had to build a containment wall. Didn't matter if the dam was already in breach or was very close to breach or had to be maintained and renovated. It didn't matter, but they wanted you to build that for high-risk dams. In the event of failure of the dam, they had to contain 100%. It was only 60% before, and now they had to contain 100% because after Bermudino Dam failed, there were more than 400 people that lost their lives, and about 200 people, they didn't even find them. So this was a unique project because we were bringing in the concept of tsunami wall for barrier wall, where you had, you know, the 2 rows of pipe walls, as you can see here. The front wall was actually the energy consumption wall, and the wall behind was actually the containment wall. There was a space in between, and we filled it with the tailing material, improved tailing material that they had on site. That was not as strong as concrete, but we tried to get it as close as possible with adding some of the adjectives and stuff like that. And steel wall, the biggest challenge for us was like steel wall was not built as a dam barrier wall. It was always a concrete wall. So getting approved this technology and the methodology building was very interesting because it was new for Brazil as well, right? And Cuttack canal improvements was one of my favorite projects as well, because this was my first project in India. As I said, I had never worked in India, and this is in the poorest part of the Cuttack area. And the canal actually floods every year, and the water gets into the small homes that are right around the canal. The canal is very dirty, they have never maintained it, and there is no drainage facility at all. So we were coming in there with Geotechnical and Piler to install the sheet piles for supportive excavation, which would be temporary, and then it would be permanent sheet piles as well for dredging and installing the drainage and building a road on top of it. The funniest thing about this was, like, I was, you know, a celebrity on this job site. You know, being Indian and coming from New York, they were all very excited to meet me, and they were all happy to talk about how to do this. We had a very good conversations with OWSSP, and this project just got completed last year, September or mid last year, I think. And this is a port project in Japan, which is also for waterfront, for actually flooding and tsunami wall. This was also a very interesting project for me. So now I want to talk about challenges. What kind of challenges have I faced? You know, if I say I didn't face any challenges, I would be lying, right? Being a misfit, I look different in this country, and my thinking is different, and also to be accepted was not easy. And we still have the same problem, and we still talk about this, being female in male world. It is not that bad. In my experience, I've always found many men who have seen my struggles and helped me along the way. And there has been times when I was alone and didn't know what to do and wanted to quit even, but I had allies. For many people, it is common to find value and purpose through work. That is how it is for me. Understanding who I am, what are my strengths, and how can I preserve my identity and still be successful was very crucial in this journey. And the last thing I want to say is, you know, we always look for the door, right? This is an important stage in our career. You know, we all say there is always an open door. How do you find it? Where is it? That was a very big question for me. And at the same time, preparing myself after finding the door was also important stage of my career. This was about 10 years ago, almost gave up and was down in a black hole. I'm sure a lot of us have been in that situation. When I was working with bar engineering and working in 19 states and oil and gas industry and energy industry, I was 196% utilized at work. I didn't even know that number could be determined because I was working 80 hours every week. Other than work, there was nothing else on my mind. And I was living a zombie life pretty much. This not only strained my personal life, but at the same time, I had a loss of family member, which was very scary for me. I was very scared to share this and say to the company that I was working, I need time to grieve and find help. I tried and tried to come out of the black hole, but could not. This is when I said, to hell with circumstances, I will change it. I will create opportunities. I understood that risk is in anything we do, right? If I don't embrace the risk and risk it, there will be no opportunity and no getting out of it. I don't know if you all have watched the movie Ratatouille. My all-time favorite movie for two reasons. Number one, inspiring story, and something relating to cooking, which I love to cook as well. This movie always cheers me up. Remy the rat dreams of becoming a chef, but he's a rat. Who wants a rat as a chef? And Alfredo Linguini has lost his mother and overall not talented to do any job. The combination of different perspectives and personalities, both figuring out to work and find purpose in life, is incredible. At the same time, both were in a circumstance to fail, but they created an opportunity together and succeeded. That is why I say embrace every risk that comes your way, small or large. Look at the risk and figure out how to challenge the risk, and that risk can be converted as opportunities. So now let's talk about why we are here. What drives the demand? The demand for civil engineers is influenced by several factors, and they tend to be very based on economic conditions, infrastructure needs, and technological advancements. Here you can see a snapshot of the current trends and factors affecting the demand for civil engineers. Number one, infrastructure development. Many regions, we know even in India, Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, everywhere. In US, we have California, Washington State, New York, Florida. All these regions are, rapidly developing, and government is investing heavily in infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, airports, public transportation systems. This is creating a steady demand for civil engineers. The second one is urbanization. This, again, in Bangalore, in Bombay, Delhi, and even like Gurgaon, right? Gurgaon, we have seen how rapidly it is growing. And Chennai, we have seen that as well. As more people are moving into urban areas, there is a growing need for infrastructure improvements and new construction in cities. This includes not only residential, but commercial and industrial projects. And the other main important thing is the aging infrastructure. In developing countries, like in India and US and any other part of the world, much of the existing infrastructure is aging and requires renovation or replacement. We have seen many bridges failing in India, many bridges failing in United States. Civil engineers are needed to design and oversee these rehabilitation projects. And one of the major concerns that we have is environmental concerns, right? There's an increasing focus on sustainability and environmentally friendly construction practices all over the world. How can we make it suitable for years to come? Our kids, our grandkids, and their kids, they all have to see a habitable and adaptable world in the future. So civil engineers with expertise in green building practices, environmental engineering are also in high demand. And next, most important that we are seeing is technological advancements, right? Innovations in construction technology such as smart infrastructure, building information modeling, BIM, and advanced materials. They are creating opportunities and altering the skill sets required for civil engineers. And one of the major challenges that every country in the world is facing right now is the climate change. Engineers are increasingly needed to design infrastructure that can withstand extreme weather events and address the impacts of climate change. If you're looking at New York, last few years I've been part of this Big U project, which is basically what New York is doing is like, New York is like this, right? New York, they are designing and building a flood wall all around the coast of the New York City. the New York City, every time it rains every year, has been flooded, and the water gets into the subway tunnels. It gets into the lower part of the downtown area, midtown area, and there is, even though we have good drainage, it takes about 24 hours for the water to recede. So we have to figure out how we can actually stop the water from the Hudson River coming into the city. So we're building this Big U project, which is called as the East Coast Resiliency Project, which has been the biggest project in the country until the tunnel that we have started building. We'll talk about it in just a second. The same thing is happening in Miami. Same thing is happening in California, parts of California. And of course, I have to mention New Orleans and Louisiana. New Orleans is actually 8 feet below sea level. And every hurricane season, it is unbelievable. Hurricane Katrina, we saw what it did to us. So engineers are very much needed to design the infrastructure for the future, to safeguarding the community, safeguarding the lives, and also to safeguard the cities that we have built. And the last one which we have to mention is the economic conditions. The demand for civil engineers can be affected by economic cycles. We see that every year. During economic downturns, infrastructure projects may be delayed or scaled back, which can impact job opportunities, but they always have to come back, something that we always have to remember. And as I said, while I was thinking how I should be presenting on this topic that Dr. Nilima requested me, I wanted to bring in some statistics to show you what is happening in USA right now. In general, the job outlook for civil engineers is positive right now, with many regions experiencing a steady or growing need for professionals in this field. According to various labor market reports, civil engineering is considered a stable and in-demand profession with opportunities across a wide range of industries and geographical locations. So employment statistics, job growth, when you're looking at that, US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of civil engineers is projected to grow 6% from 2021 to 2031. As of May 2022, 334,000 civil engineers were employed. And when you're looking at job outlook, the demand for civil engineers is expected to be strong due to ongoing infrastructure projects, which we talked about: road repairs, bridge replacements, water system upgrades, as I was talking to you about New York, what is happening. Additionally, the need for sustainable and resilient infrastructure is responsible to climate change in driving demand as well. And the next that we have to think about is the regional variations. We talked about how urban areas are changing, right? Regions with significant infrastructure development projects, that's where we are seeing. And at the same time, we're also looking at the places where you have climate issues. And those are the regions where you see these infrastructure projects being added. States like California, Texas, New York, Florida often show that there are higher job numbers due to the large populations and, again, extensive infrastructure needs. COVID changed everything in USA. During COVID, we realized that, yes, we can move anywhere in the country, we can live anywhere, and then we can work from anywhere, right? That changed the fabric of how we do business. And a lot of people who used to live in urban areas have decided to move into areas where where there are beaches, for example, like a lot of people from New York, a lot of people from Midwest, they all moved to Florida. And I moved to Florida for not for that reason, but I've seen an influx of how residential communities are being built in here. How the Florida Department of Transportation is actually building turnpikes, improving the bridges that they have. So there is a huge demand. Infrastructure and construction, we just spoke about, right? Significant demand that is coming from government agencies, construction firms, and engineering consulting companies who are working in public and private infrastructure projects. And when we are looking at environmental urban planning, there is also growing demand in areas like environmental engineering, urban planning, which are driven by the need for sustainable development and also climate resiliency, which we are talking about. And these statistics that we are talking about indicate a stable and positive job outlook for civil engineering in USA. They have consistent demand driven by both ongoing and upcoming infrastructure needs. One thing I wanted to bring in is like, in US, geotechnical engineers are actually paid a little bit more than other engineers within civil engineers. So the pay scale can start anywhere from 90,000 to 120,000 as a median annual wage. We can also talk about how there is a disparity between how much men make and how much women make, but we can keep the conversation for some other day, because that will be a long conversation. So these statistics that I have shown here are from 2023 ASC Civil Engineering Salary Report, which was released by American Society of Civil Engineers. And again, US Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that a need for about 25,000 new civil engineers each year throughout this decade. And also estimate shows that infrastructure projects will create 883,000 jobs by 2030. Per capita income will increase by 10.5%, and base salaries already has increased 7% from 2022 to 2023. And as you can see, it was 5% in 2020 and 2021, and it was 6% 2021 to 2022. This is a good way of thinking about, like, I know software industry pays a lot more than what civil engineering industry pays, but we are trying to catch up. We may never catch up to what software engineers are paid, but at least, like, it is not like how it was 15 years ago. I remember when I started my first job, I did work in India for 6 months in an architectural firm. I remember my first salary was 2,000 rupees. And then, actually not 6 months, 1 year, I think I worked there. When I left, I was making 6,200 rupees, which was huge amount for me, when thinking about it. This was 21 years ago. So we have come a long way. I wanted to put this out there. Some of you may know Maria Lehman. She is the GHD's infrastructure leader for the USA, and she's also the ASCE 2023 president and vice chair for President's National Infrastructure Advisory Council. That means like she's actually on the advisory panel to advise the Biden administration in White House on how the infrastructure outlook should look like and what are the needs, where are the voids, and where do we need more work to be done. So she says the current workforce crisis has created a great demand for civil engineers that the US Bureau of Labor Statistics states will continue for the next decade. When you consider the age and condition of much of our infrastructure, along with the additional funding being brought to bear, the demand will only continue, which is very true. So now I want to talk about India a little bit. Again, as I said, I may be wrong in some of these numbers in India. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I did read 2 different business reports. One actually said that civil engineering is expected to grow at the rate of 9% between 2018 to 2028. And the other report actually said 25% annually, which I think is very high. I'm not sure if that is the correct number. 9% looks like a lot more, honest number. And as you saw in what is a geotechnical field video, there are a number of roles that we can have in the industry. Some of them are planning, design, construction, management, operations, maintenance, which is in infrastructure and systems. And the same, all of these can be applicable to if you're looking at dams, if you're looking at housing, if you're looking at mining, it can all be the same. And India also launched a National Infrastructure Pipeline INP in 2020 and investment of INR 111 lakh crore over 2020 to 2025. I hope this number is correct. February 2024, New Delhi unveiled annual budget, 134 billion for infrastructure projects nationwide. That means 11% more than what we saw in 2023. So to continue what we are talking about, demand and supply gap of skilled civil engineers is still 82%. And within architects, it's 86%. That means we need 4 million proficient civil engineers. This is not only India, even United States has a huge demand and supply gap for proficient civil engineers. We are struggling this. Every association in civil engineering, it can be American Society of Civil Engineers, the Foundation Institute, it can be Geo Institute, it can be ACEC, which is American Council of Engineering Companies. There are every association is talking about how can, as a community, we increase the number of skilled civil engineers. How can we bring in more students into workforce? How can we keep them? After bringing in, it's not about just bringing them in, getting them through the school, university, and everything. But when they started workforce, we have seen the civil engineers move away within the first year or 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. Once they cross the 7 years, they always stay. But we have to find out it's not just women. Women leave the industry when they are 5 years or 7 years, when they start families, because they don't see the support that companies are giving, but which is changing. But men as well are moving away because of several reasons. So there has been extensive study that is being done within the industry to see how we can maintain this and start closing the gap little by little for future development of different parts of the industry. And the article also measured that the construction sector, civil engineering is construction sector is the second largest employment generator right now. As of 2023, 71 million, which is 7.1 crore, is estimated to be employed, and 81% of workforce is unskilled, and only 19% of workforce are skilled employees, which is scary, right? And the Knight Frank Wealth Report is also an ultimate guide to prime property markets and global wealth distribution. And they mentioned that between 2012 and 21, the cumulative supply of core skilled employees, that is civil engineers, was 8,096,864. And it is estimated that 17 lakh civil engineers may seek employment by 2029 and 30, growing at a CAGR, compound annual growth rate of 10.4% with an annual average increment of 1.8 lakhs, which is very scary and very important that we as civil engineers help the industry to grow this. Any questions? I know I've been talking the whole time. Please stop.
We are reaching time. If you could wind up.
Sure. Then let me do this. I don't know if, let me not go through the projects. So I'll just say these projects and then maybe a few things. I have 6 minutes, Ramu?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Right? I have 6 minutes. Okay. Thank you. Or Ramu, if you think that we should just do the questions, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah, I guess audience participants will definitely ask after the lecture probably. Yeah,
then let's just jump to the questions then.
Yeah, you can please take 6 minutes, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to go through these projects. I just wanted to bring in some mega projects that are happening to showcase how amazing these projects are and why we should stay in civil engineering. You know, this is California High-Speed Rail. We have been involved in instrumentation and monitoring and risk assessment, for this project. And it has been an amazing project. And the other one is Frederick Douglass Tunnel. This is a 150 years old tunnel, 1.4 mile tunnel and 6 billion estimated project cost. And we just won this project 3 weeks ago. I'm very excited to work on this project as well. Gateway Development Commission, this is actually in 3 parts to it. They're building a tunnel between New Jersey and New York. And we are also waiting for the bid to be announced. And we have bid this project as well. And this will be an iconic project for us to be part of. And I have 3 projects that I've mentioned about India. One is Navi Mumbai International Airport. I'm sure some of you may be working on this project. And Bharatmala Pariyojana project as well. Developed in 2 phases. You know more about this project than me. So some of you may be part of this project as well. And the other one is Sagarmala project. These are very, for my interest, I felt like these were very interesting to me. So ports, I have a lot of experience with ports, maritime administration as well. So that's why I thought this was an amazing project. So I just want to, wrap up with saying, how do we empower ourselves? Technical associations, Definitely, build your invincible network, be a leader and a role model. Mentoring is very important. Mentoring to empower yourself. So find mentors early on in your career. Don't wait. That is what will help you sculpt your career path and look at what opportunities do you have. When you're not in the room, you need ally and a cheerleader to talk about you. So that's why you need to be building your network and building your mentoring network. And how many mentors are enough? We always think about this. I attended a impromptu session so many years ago. Nancy Watt, who is a leadership coach, she basically said, you better have at least 7 mentors coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, and giving you different level of learning. So I have the different type of mentors that you should be having. We're not going to be going through these mentors, but they are your personal board members to think about it. And this is some pictures that I wanted to put in. By building my network, I was able to, be in different parts of the world and be part of different associations and start a movement to start women indie foundations in different parts of the world. So for sculpting your own future, I would say be unique. What you stand for is very critical. Figure it out and be unique. Know the power of your mind. This is very important too. And you can program it for success. Build invincible networks and mentors. We talked about this already. Learn to use mistakes and challenges to your advantage. And be humble always. There are, every part of your life, you have people who will teach you. So don't ever hesitate to learn from them and be humble. Tell them you don't know what you're talking about and tell them to teach you. Be the change. If you want to make the change, you definitely have to be the change. Networking is equal to mentors, and mentors means you're empowering yourself. And I wanted to share 2 books that are very dear to my heart that has made a difference in my life. And this one that I'm showing you is Brag, the Art of Tooting Your Horn Without Blowing It. Men or women, it doesn't matter. We always have difficulty in showcasing who we are and what we have accomplished to get where we are. So learn how to artfully talk about it and not brag about it, And she is the author. Recently, I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I found out that she lives there. So I reached out to her and I asked her to meet me. So we got to meet each other and we had a wonderful conversation. And the second book is The Choose Possibilities. This book is very interesting and very important for a few reasons. Our careers are a series of choices, right? We make choices, some of which feel scary and make or break our career. What do you do when you become paralyzed by fear, unable to act, which happened to me? And what if you do make a move that doesn't work out of the way you did hope? Same thing happened to me last year. How do you continue to take risks to find success? Not once, but many times. This book actually offers a lot of, this is a real story by Sukhinder Singh Cassidy. She went through this and she puts it in words, giving you complete perspective of how you can actually achieve. So that's pretty much. I've always Aarti Bhargava was one of our guest speakers few years ago, and she brought this Dragon Gate story to us to showcase that we should be brave and never give up. Story of koi fish swimming upstream together against a strong current. Most of the koi give up and turn around before reaching the waterfalls. Very few make it to the waterfall, and gods award them by turning them into dragon koi. So that's what I think we should all remember. We can do it, never give up, and get there and be victorious. Thank you very much. And this is my LinkedIn. I'm always available on LinkedIn. Reach out to me, and this is my email and my cell phone number. I'm available on WhatsApp as well. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Anil Joseph. Thank you, Dr. AP Singh, and Ramu. Thank you so much. And Dr. Nilima as well. I hope I was able to share good information.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful lecture. Definitely, it will help everybody. Before we close up this event, we will open the floor for any questions from the participants. followed by vote of thanks. So we have questions from the chat box. If you could see, otherwise I will happy to read for you. So Professor Satish Kumar Sharma is a co-chairman of our IGS Indore chapter, has asked one question in a chat box. In India, civil engineering is not the top choice of students these days. In general, what is the situation in USA? I hope you answered in the your presentation. If you could broadly elaborate present situation at USA for civil engineering graduates, it would definitely help us.
Yeah, definitely. So in USA, I have to say it is a little different. Civil engineering is seen as one of the most prestigious engineering, place to be. But at the same time, with the developments in the technology, AI, and everything else, the younger generation has the same issue as in India, that well, I can sit in my room for 8 hours and work, and I don't have to be on the job site. I don't have to be in an office, and work on the computer. So there is a little bit of spoiled attitude in younger generation as well. And the other thing also is, like we have seen, a lot of younger generation in USA actually don't know what we do. They know civil engineering is a industry, is a field, but they don't know what geotechnical engineers do. They don't know what environmental engineers do. So there has been a very difficult movement in United States as well to showcase within students. We are even going as back as kids K-12 who are between who are just coming out of primary school, middle school, high school, and undergraduate. That is the pipeline as well, where we are trying to focus to show them. We are visiting the universities. We are showing them what we can do. We are having the Future City competitions in every state where you have ASCE chapter to showcase that, yes, civil engineering is a very noble field and very exciting, and there is a future for everyone. So to answer your question, we are fighting the same battle. We just have to figure out how we can win this battle and get more students into the pipeline.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope you answered very well. And any participants from wants to ask any questions, you are free to go. Unmute yourself and then you can ask.
Yeah, Lucky, congratulations. Yes. Excellent talk. Hope, Ramu, we have recorded this. We have to show it across, because this is a very motivational talk, well covered, and especially the way you shared your tougher part of the journey and coming out of the black hole was really motivational. And we always believe that people try to give up. So again, the stories were very motivating. The opportunities which you have showcased was excellent. I just have one question to ask you. So there is a lot of people moving from civil engineering and selecting to this IT computer industry. What do you think the future of when this drain is going to stop and when the people will come back to core engineering?
Yes, so that's a very difficult question, Dr. Anil, because it can be seen in two different ways. For me, in my perspective, number one, the software industry is very important crucial to what we are as civil engineers will be doing in the future, right? You may be aware of American Society of Civil Engineers. They are building future cities, right? They also have a new movie now that came in after Dream Big, Future City movie, right? And when you're thinking about future cities, we as civil engineers, even though we have the core engineering that is the backbone of who we are, we have to use the technology to advance further, right? We want to build sustainable structures. We want to build green building. And even in India, we have green cities that are coming up, right? I saw that article where Jacobs is being given has been awarded 5 big green cities or smart cities to build in India. So to build that kind of cities, you definitely need a technology background. That being said, I think there needs to be a backbone engineering experience to understand civil engineering. And then there is also an interface that has to happen between civil engineering and computer science engineering, right? AI, information technology. I think that is another big word that we are using in the industry now, because we have so much of data coming into the industry with respect to our projects. And how are we going to understand the data for the future, right? How are we going to put all the information in one place to analyze the information, to mitigate the risks efficiently? So there is definitely an overlap of software engineers and civil engineers. Unfortunately, I think we cannot stop civil engineers moving into software engineers. But at least what we can do is showcase how software engineering could be used for the benefit of civil engineering. You know, that may actually bridge the gap a little bit better. And us working with them and interfacing between the two will give us a success of future engineering, civil engineering cities that we are envisioning right now. I hope I answered the question correctly.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it said should be a marriage between both to bring the better technology together and take it forward. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the excellent lecture also.
Thank you, sir.
Dr.
Any more participants? So if not,
something.
yeah, Dr.
Yes, Rema.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Reva here, a faculty in Civil Engineering College at Indore. And
Okay.
first of all, you want the wonderful, insightful lectures and addressing the elephant in the room, which nobody really likes to talk about. So thank you so much for that. The other day, I also listened to Women in Construction themed lecture that day, which you were giving. So I just wanted to ask any suggestions on how the teachers or the faculties can ensure more skilled civil engineers. As you said, that 81% are non-skilled and 19% are only skilled, which is an alarming figure. So any suggestions from your side, since you have been in the industry for long, and there are very few handful students who are actually taking interest and taking admission into civil engineering. So what can we do on our part? Can you please suggest some points?
Yeah, definitely. That's a wonderful question, Reva. Again, this is a question that we are fighting to in United States, unfortunately. So there are a number of things that, this has to be a marriage between the academicians and industry professionals. It cannot be fought only by academicians, unfortunately. You know, you need our help and we need your help, because you are the ones who are starting the pipeline of future leaders, and we need to work with you to keep those future leaders engaged, committed, and working in the industry, retain in the industry as well. So some of the things, I'll give you some examples in USA that we are doing as a community. So again, I'm going back to the technical associations. As an individual, there are things that people can do. There are many, I'm assuming there are many professors in this group, and there are many professionals in this group as well who are on today. One thing what we are doing is we have created an ambassador program within DFI. Geo Institute, ASE Geo Institute also has an ambassador program. What they are doing is they're doing it a little differently. So as DFI, we have created student engagement program or student engagement outreach. In this, we have recognized 6 or 7 regional ambassadors around the country. And most of us are professionals who have connections to the universities that we graduated from. So, and depending on where we live, right? And this can be a loaded answer, Reva. I'll try to give it to you as quickly as possible. And what we are trying to do is we are working with the the academicians, professors. We are building the relationship with the professors, and at the same time, we are bringing in industry professionals to the universities to talk to the students. That is the first step. Next is creating an internship program with the universities. I don't know how active it is in India for internships, but this is something that we definitely have to create. The students, while they are in universities, have to see how it is to work in the industry before they graduate. This is where we can actually capture their attention and also show them the opportunities for future. And then the next thing I would say is organizing, reaching out to the industry professionals that you know as a professor and doing field trips. That is very good way of showcasing the amazing structures that we are building around the world and showing them that, hey, you can be part of this. This will be you designing this in 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And the other thing I want to say is, like, by doing something like this, bringing in industry professionals into the university, professors and industry professionals having that conversation can be a very good impact on the students. And you can start a mentoring program within your universities. What I mean by mentoring program is not full-time mentoring program, but having this shadow program of industry professionals, having 2 or 3 students to talk to and say, well, let's see what you want to do. Let's see what opportunities we can expose you to. Having that conversation is very important. And at the same time, we do resume critiquing and mock interview. As industry professionals, we team up with the universities and the professors, and we every year, twice, 2 seasons, we get number of students signed up from the universities to professionals, and we go through the resume critiquing and mock interview, get them prepared for their interviews once they graduate. These are just handful of things that I'm talking about, but there are a number of things like this as industry professionals and university professors we can do. Just to tell you something in a nutshell.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you.
much, ma'am. Point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
please
I
reach
hope.
out, Reva, if you have more to talk about this, because
I'll
there is
connect
so
with
much
you.
we can talk about this.
Yes, ma'am. I'll connect with you over LinkedIn soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I hope participants can reach Ms. Lucky at any time for given an email ID for any further clarification or even in future collaboration. So with this, I would like to briefly summarize Ms. Lucky's keynote lecture. So today she has very well presented, stating initially from getting hands dirty through soil is a stepping stone towards global leader in geotechnical profession, which is well supported by Mariel Ahmed in her t-shirt written in one of her photo, if closely observed. And that is what she is standing with us today. And we are really proud of you, ma'am. And also you have very well explained your 20 plus years journey. Please correct me if I'm not. So very well from starting from staff engineers to director level for the Geocamp. And again, on behalf of IGS fraternity, we congratulate you for becoming a director for Geocamp. And apart from this, technical wise, you have very well given a brief details on Florida sinkhole, turbine foundations, dams, port projects, and so many. And also you have motivated. I really feel that it is a really motivated lecture for undergraduate and even scholars, and especially for girls for being a misfit to finding the door. That is an embracing risk is equal to opportunities. And you have very well explained about the demand and supply in USA and as well as in Indian context, which will be definitely helpful for undergraduate and research scholars. And the last but not least, but you very well validated your humble nature by saying be unique and be humble. And hopefully the books that you have suggested named after Bragg and Choose Possibility will be carried forward by many students. And at last, I would like to thank Dr. Anil Joseph and Dr. AP Singh, IGS President and Honorary Secretary, for joining this event. And we are really proud of them. Because of them, we are getting this kind of events go successfully. Whenever requested, they, despite of their busy schedule, they always join. And I would also like to thank Professor Satish Sharma, who joined here as an Indore
I'm very proud of what I do. I'm very proud of what I do, and I hope I have motivated many undergrads on this call, and I please continue being a civil engineer. This is the most satisfying, most happiest field profession that you can be. So that's what I would say, and don't hesitate to reach out to me if there is anything I can do for you. And I hope our paths cross, as well as Ramu said, and I'll be looking forward to seeing Dr. Anil Joseph in the future.
Sure, ma'am. We hopefully.
Yeah, and one thing, Ramu, I want to say is, like, each of you on this call have to be a cheerleader for another person. You know, bring in engineers to our workforce. That is the daring challenge I have for you all.
Sure, ma'am. We'll take it up and we'll meet your hopes also. And with this, I'd like to thank everybody for joining this event, and hopefully we'll see you all in upcoming lecture series. And ma'am, again, we will be happy to host you here. And please ping us whenever you come India. Okay, that's our wish. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucky.
all of
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ramu.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, bye. You may leave all. Okay. Thank you.